Hi guys, how are you?
Hi. Lovely to see you.
Yeah, you too. How's social isolation treating you?
Oh, look, our kids went back to school this week, so that was a
Refreshing.
bit of a relief. We actually, you know what? We've actually had some amazing family time, and we actually all survived it pretty well. Them, thankfully, they survived their parents, but yeah, it's been very quiet this week, just having the two of us around.
Yeah. And I guess it's given you guys some time to work on some performance stuff.
Some performance stuff. Yeah, no, we did. We managed to get in a little practice today. So that's good. That's the handy thing with living with each other. That makes
exactly.
Yeah, no, very much looking forward to next Friday night.
Yeah, and what can we expect to see from you and from the show all round?
Oh, look, I think it's going to be a really beautiful celebration and reflection on unity. I think unity of our industry, unity of community, and yeah, we're really looking forward to be a part of it.
We don't know what anyone else is singing.
No, we don't,
because obviously we're not rehearsing with anyone or doing anything. So it's actually going to be great for us to be able to, see what our friends are up to and what they're performing. So
yeah.
But yes, it's certainly everyone sort of dusting off the cobwebs or vocally.
I did say that to Simon today. I sadly have not been singing enough during COVID, but so it'd be nice to do that. But we're singing a beautiful Sarah Bareilles number.
Beautiful.
Called "Safe Place to Land." So that should be nice. I'm looking forward to singing with Jack Earl and his band.
Which I think is cool. I think that all of these online concert-y cabaret type shows is just showing what we can do with technology.
Yeah. I think we're also fine-tuning it a little bit. So it's great that those of us who are local will be able to be in the studio in a little bit more of a contained environment.
I am so looking forward to that. I cannot tell you the prospect of just being in a studio space and having some beautiful lights and colleagues. It's just going to be, I mean, he's a great colleague and all, but a few more friends will be so wonderful. But just to be in an environment that feels theatrical is going to be special, I think.
Yeah.
And where do you think, we're going to move as a theatre industry once, we're starting to see restrictions lifting slowly? Do you think maybe like these smaller venues will be the first ones to kind of open back up?
Yeah, it's tricky. It's the $111 billion question about how we're going to get back.
What I've been really buoyed by is that I feel like over this time there's been some incredible creative conversations. So, adapting and ensuring that no matter the audience sizes or no matter the medium, that there's a lot of thought and development going into creating a theatrical experience. I will be really intrigued to see when and how we get back. I hope it's soon. Sooner rather than later.
And maybe it'll be outdoor.
Yeah.
Outdoor stuff first, and it looks like that might be the way it'll go, because it's just not viable to run theatres with such a small capacity, sadly. So everyone's sort of hoping for, although everyone's buoyed by New Zealand, what's happening over there. They seem to be a couple of steps ahead of us and seem to be bringing theatre back. So.
And one of the positives, I think, is I feel like there's been a real focus back onto Australian-made content, and the opportunity that perhaps with smaller houses there's going to be, more of a light for independent companies and independent shows, and shows that people may not normally have thought to go and see because they go and see the big, musicals or whatever. So I hope that's one of the positive outcomes, is that, audiences start getting behind a plethora, I'm going to say that because that's what it's going to be, of Australian content that's going to be out there for the next while.
Yeah, it's sort of good that there's, unlike the US, or at least Broadway and the West End, at least most of our tickets seem to be local audiences. And so when we do get back on our feet, hopefully we don't have to rely on international ticket and international holiday makers as much as those massive sectors do. So hopefully we'll actually be able to bounce back fairly quickly when we can and when we're allowed to.
I think we'll be good. We have a really great arts culture, at least. I mean, I'm talking biased because I'm in Melbourne as well. But it's massive here, even with those smaller independent or, like the La Mamas and the 45 downstairs and stuff. So I think that we'll be okay. It might take a little bit longer to kind of ease back in, but I think you're right in saying that it gives those smaller shows, those grassroots productions, some space.
Completely, Gabby. I think that's exactly right. And perhaps an opportunity for audiences to re-educate themselves as to kind of what's on offer. And even in terms of festivals and, just seeing the way that things are being reimagined and rethought of, but that also acknowledging that there's this amazing opportunity for Australian work, when for so long it's felt like a little bit of a struggle to get Australian stories told as regularly as they should be, or developed as regularly as they should be. I think that's a really great thing.
Yeah, and initiatives like this with the whole Lights Up, I'm hoping that it still continues, even though, theatres will open up. I think it's a really great way for audiences to connect to performers from no matter where they are in the country and hear, artists and performing artists that they love sing some fun songs and not be too in their heads about getting the lines right and the choreo right and everything perfect, because it's just a celebration of the industry and the content rather than, we've got to nail every single performance.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that it's, there is an intimacy to the online experience if you can capture it. I think that that's the conversations that I love of late, that there's been a lot of conversation about how do we stop the digital experience just being kind of a voyeur thing where it's a flat 2D kind of thing, and actually make it feel like more of a reciprocal experience that you get in the theatre. And I know Josh, with the Lights Up, they're thinking about what that element would be like, and I'm super excited to see what kind of comes out of that. But I feel like there's been more creative conversations and in places that haven't necessarily had as many of those conversations before, in councils we're in Geelong, and like even within our community, the opportunities for artists to be listened to over the past little while has been so much, there's been so much more of that than I've known before. So I feel like it's also lent itself to some great conversations. The next step is to see those conversations be turned into action, I think, which is what we're all hoping for.
Starting point. It's a good place to kind of kick it off, because now that, we weren't having these conversations, and, you guys being out in Geelong, there's not as much theatre accessible out there, and having this digital platform gives the opportunity for people who may be an hour plus out of the city to stay connected and stay involved.
Yeah. And also, I mean, I think even in that sense, like, I think it's been like the conversations down here, for example, like we've got this extraordinary art centre down here, and it's just being refurbished and redesigned. It's kind of amazing. But actually looking at going, well, how do we kind of re-questioning where a central focus for an arts industry, whatever or precinct has to be, and kind of going, well, why can't we reimagine what it is, say down here an hour away from Melbourne, to be able to bring people down as well? Like, there's been some really forward moving combos around that, and I do think that the time and space and everybody, of course, notwithstanding the tragedy and the devastation that has come from COVID, but from a creative conversation viewpoint, a lot of that has happened because things have slowed down, and people have had to look at their organisations or their businesses and go, how do we adapt here? And it's nice to know that the arts on some level is a part of those conversations. Yeah, that was a monologue.
No, it's great.
And
And sing.
But I think you're right. It's, obviously everything going on right now all over the world. There's so much chaos and so much tragedy, but sometimes when we do take a step back to kind of check in and look at ourselves and look at the world around us, it helps with that introspection to move forward. So we're getting so much new content being written now, and new plays, new musicals, and concepts like this being done online, that it was possible, but no one really took a step back and thought, oh, we need this right now. So
yeah,
I think it's also on another level. We've been speaking to quite a few students who are going through schools in terms of WAPA kids and some VCA students as well, and it also, I don't know why no one thought, why don't we just Zoom the people we want to talk to as a collective, as opposed to wait till they're in town. It just seems such an obvious thing to do. But it wasn't until this that people went, oh God, we could just Zoom them, and then we can all speak to these people anytime, and they don't have to travel, and it's super easy. So from an educational standpoint, it's been great too, as well as people putting down paywalls for educational content, which has been fantastic for lots of people. So but saying all this, we have not yet been able to bridge the gap of being able to mirror what it feels like to see live performance. We get to a certain point every time, and then you just can't break through the physical presence of being in an audience and seeing people perform in front of you. So as much as it has been great and it's been innovative and creative, I'm yet to be convinced that it's anywhere near as good as the real thing.
I don't think it ever will be. Unless they come up with some VR way to watch a show from home. The atmosphere of being in a live venue is,
that's right.
Yeah. But it's nice that we've had something in this interim, because the first few weeks, I don't know about you guys, but first few weeks I was pulling my hair out.
Yeah. Yes. And I love now that it's going beyond, and rightly so, that there was reactionary kind of content. We need to create content, or, what does this mean? And people exploring that. And now I feel like we're at
it's considered.
Considered. Yeah. We've got this opportunity now to consider, because the reactionary stuff was successful and it was great and it kept people going. And it's really nice that this next phase we're starting to enter into that now. I mean, I don't know. Did you see Belvoir? Belvoir did an online concert a few weeks ago, and and all of it was so fantastic. But what I was really struck by was the piece that the Fangirls cast did, and for me, I was like, man, that's a theatrical experience utilizing digital technology. And it knocked me for six. And I just was like, wow, that's really powerful. And it kind of made me start to go, me who can be a bit of a digital phobe, to go, there's real stuff to explore here. And for the time being, it's great that we can, I think. And it's great that people are offering opportunities and platforms for it to continue on, like our concept.
Yeah, it's going to be really fun. I loved the last one. I thought it was super fun. And I think for you guys as performers too, it must be cool to not know anything else that's going to happen. You'd have your sound check for rehearsal, and you'd get to hear a little bit of everyone. And this way you're just going in blind as well. Yeah,
that's right. And I was speaking to a mate who did a night here in Geelong at the Arts Centre. Just him and two guys actually. And he said the weird thing was, you finish and people are watching it, instantaneous live, but there's silence.
Just like really enthusiastic, the people who were there, like
the 5 people,
just like a couple of claps.
So I find that really funny.
Maybe they should do like what they've done with the footy and have the can audience noise playing.
It took us
last night. We sat there. I was like,
not that we were like avid, well, I don't know watching football, but
I was like, is that crowd?
What is going on? It was stranger to me because it was only when there was a goal and someone went like a cheap 80s sitcom went, okay, now everyone's going to cheer. But all the rest of the game, there was this very strange general noise. And I was thinking, why are people not screaming for that moment? It took me a long time to work out what was going on.
I'll be kind. Just turn that applause up.
Yeah, exactly.
Standing ovation level every time.
Yeah, that's right.
And I think that's probably the weirdest thing. Everyone else I've spoken to about, making or performing online has said that same point of not having an audience response is odd.
Yeah, it's like the old days of morning television when we used to do stuff with, Good Morning Australia and used to sing live. And they were always sort of terrifying because you knew it was getting beamed out, but there was no reaction in the studio. Yeah. And it's a very, very strange, it's a very strange feeling. But I mean, that's the other type in terms of performers. That's the other piece of the puzzle that we can't replicate, is that desire to have immediate interaction with the people who are sitting in front of you, and you can't fake that either. So, because after all, that's why we're doing it. So, I know. I don't mean that. We're doing it for other people. Yeah. But that's interesting. Okay, you went there. Yeah.
A little bit of both.
Yeah. If we're being honest.
Well, I'm really looking forward to next Friday's concert. I'll let you guys go. But thank you so much for having the chat.
Good to see you again, Gary.
It's lovely to see you.
And all the best with your rehearsals, and hope you guys aren't driving each other too crazy.
No.
And we'll see
you on Friday. You won't see me, but I'll see you.
Cheer loudly.
Yes, I will. Thank you.